Good evening. Good evening. Let us come to the heart of it at once. When the phone rings at midnight and fear is at your ear in human voice, this is not a time to explain truth. This is a time to realize it. Words are only auxiliaries at best. At worst, they are an interference. Do you see? The mind goes racing to the tongue to save the day with a sentence. But salvation is not born of sentence. Salvation is born of spirit, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Your first responsibility is not verbal, it is inner. I know the fear that rises. If I don't say the right thing, I'll fail them. That fear is itself the first temptation. It demands performance, a scramble for phrases, a quick answer to quiet the nerves. But nerves cannot heal nerves. Panic cannot guide prayer. Your safety and theirs lies in remembering that consciousness, realized as presence, is the healer. Words may serve that realization. They must never replace it. Be still and know that I am God. Not be clever, not be quick. Be still. In such moments, my conversation is usually limited to, I will help you. Do you follow that? Not because help is in the syllables, but because the sentence turns me inward and turns them away from my mouth. It is a gentle door closed on explanations. It is the first refusal to let human speech become a counterfeit of spiritual power. Then the work begins where it must begin, in consciousness. Now, let me set the scene, because we must prepare for what actually comes. The phone rings. There are tears, or no words at all, only sobs. There is the report. An accident, a diagnosis, a child not breathing, a marriage shattered. The imagination rushes in, paints pictures, and demands you comment on its canvas. In such pressure, you require a method that does not depend on your agility with language. You require something repeatable under any sky, in any hour. What I will teach you in this series is a 4-step interior response, simple enough to be used while the kettle boils over, strong enough to meet the heaviest claims so that you may offer help without preaching, comfort without platitudes, and action without fear. We will come to those steps. But hear the foundation. You do not win by speaking truth. You win by realizing it. I and the Father are one. That is not a line to placard across a panic. It is a state to be entered and stood in. The one who calls is not a problem person to be fixed by statements. The one who calls is God appearing as individual being, even if to the senses the call seems to contradict that fact, do you see? If you meet the call at the level of appearances, you will barter platitudes with pictures and grow weary doing it. If you meet the call at the level of the appearance is deprived of law, history, mandate. Do not misunderstand me. I am not asking you to pretend calm while repeating memorized truths. I am asking you to be still long enough to let truth be itself where you are. This presence speaks before you speak and often in place of your speech. It is in that stillness you will know when to say, I will help you, when to ask for an address, and when to say nothing at all. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased, is not only a mountaintop voice, it is the whisper that must be heard in your own heart about the caller while the world crashes around their ears. The proof that you have begun rightly is not a feeling. It is fruitage, results. The tightening in your own chest loosens. Their voice steadies. The next right thing appears without argument. If instead you find yourself offering explanations, correcting theology, or decorating fear with fine words, stop Be still. Remember, words are auxiliaries. Presence is the power. And so, with the next midnight ring, do not rush to say what you think God would say. Let God be God, and let your words, few and functional, serve that realization. Do you see? If you ask me what to say when fear is shouting in the receiver, I will tell you the safest sentence I know. I will help you. That is all. Not God has a plan. Not everything happens for a reason. Not there are no accidents in divine mind. Those are teachings. They may be correct in their place, but in the ears of suffering, they become salt on a wound. The brokenhearted do not need instruction. They need presence. Comfort ye, my people, saith your God. Comfort is not theory. Comfort is presence. Do you see? I will help you is a door that closes on your chatter and opens into your consciousness. It is the vow that protects them from your words and protects you from your own impulse to preach. It buys time. It composes the breath. It turns the eyes inward to the one that heals without syllables. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, not be brilliant, not be quick. Be still. When you say, I will help you, say it as one who means it, and then mean it as one who says little. There is something else that sentence does for you. It stops you from arguing with the picture. The report may be dramatic. The imagination will leap to meet it with equal drama. Resist that. Resist not evil does not mean passivity. It means do not take the bait of two powers. The picture is the arm of flesh, hypnotism, nothingness. If you enter into debate with it, you have already admitted it to reality. I will help you cuts off the debate and sends you to the only arena where you ever win inward realization. Listen to the tone that is required. Calm, slow, unhurried. Do not imitate calm. Let calm be you. Let not your heart be troubled. If your voice runs to meet their panic, you lend your life to the very suggestion you intend to deny. Speak as if the sea has already heard the Christ say, peace, be still. Not loud, not soft. True. One sentence, placed like a hand on a trembling shoulder. I will help you. Do you follow that? This sentence is not a technique. It is a posture. It is your yea, yea. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. For whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. The yea is your pledge. The nay is your refusal to let words multiply where presence alone is needed. Many will call you to fix, to explain, to promise outcomes you cannot see. Give them your vow and your presence, not your opinions. The Spirit will supply what is next. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. After you have said it, do not wait to begin. Begin at once. The outer exchange has done its work. Now the inner must do its own. Stand by in consciousness. The 4 steps will start first to drop the picture, then to impersonalize the crisis, then to behold as, and finally to abide in as but for this moment. You have given yourself the sacred pause in which to remember who you are and whom you are beholding. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased, is the word to be heard in you about the one who is called before any other word is spoken to them. I am telling you this for their safety and for yours. Words are a poor substitute for God. Use as few as possible and make them clean. I will help you. Then turn within and let God be God. The work has already moved to where it belongs. Now, quietly, we proceed. Do you see? Step 1 is the simplest instruction in the whole work and the hardest to obey because it denies the first impulse of the human mind. Drop it. Do you see? Drop what? The picture, the report, the headline running across the mind. Drop the drama that has already leapt 10 minutes into the future, rehearsing outcomes that are not here. Drop the sudden assignment you have taken upon yourself to save a world God has not lost. Take, therefore, no thought for the morrow, said the Master. Do not drag the mind into imagined scenes. One clean act, not a struggle. Drop it. The hidden temptation at the first sound of crisis is the mental stampede. The mind gallops. What if? How bad? Who else will call? What shall I say? What is the right word? And beneath that, the quieter vanity that imagines your personal cleverness is required to avert disaster. That is the bait. Resist not evil is the wisdom that stops you from taking it. Do not wrestle with the picture. Do not argue it into a prettier picture. Do not pick up a metaphysical whip and lash at it with phrases. Let it fall from your hand. One refusal, total. Drop it. You will say, but it feels irresponsible to drop it. They are depending on me. No, they are depending on God. You have pledged to help. Now keep your pledge by getting out of God's way. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Standing still is not passivity. It is refusing the hypnotic urgency that demands immediate explanations. Urgency is the mask of the belief in two powers. It shouts so that you will consent to treat it as real. If you answer that shout with hurried thought, you have already laid down your weapon and taken up its burden. Do you follow that? Drop it. Here is the micro practice. 1, breath conscious, unforced. Feel the soles of your feet, the weight of the body in the chair, the simple fact that breath is present without your management. Loosen the jaw. Let the shoulders fall by a hair's width. On the slow exhale, let the report go as if it were a string you are no longer holding. Not forever enough to return to spiritual capacity. Be still, not as a sentence to recite, but as an internal act. Be still. In that single, obedient second, the stampede loses its mandate. Casting down imaginations, Paul called it. And imaginations, they are mental movies projected upon the screen of now. You cannot help a soul while sitting in a theater of your own pictures. Leave the theater. The usher is that one breath. The exit is the simple inward turning that says, I will not carry this in my mind. Do you see? This is not ignoring. It is ceasing to nourish. You are not shoving the report under the rug. You are refusing to make it a god by pondering it. If you find the mind reaching back to pick up the picture again, do not scold it. Drop it again. Cleanly, without commentary. The power is in the refusal to engage, not in the argument you might mount against the appearance. The streetcar tracks seem to meet at the horizon. You do not walk there to correct them. You know what is. And because you know, you travel safely. So drop the appearance as law. Drop the compulsion to explain. Drop the personal sense of mission. Return to presence. You will discover that when the picture is let go, even briefly, a quiet arrives that was not available to the hurried mind. In that quiet, the next step becomes possible. Now, you can look at what is presenting itself without identifying it with a person, without making it their nature or yours. This is the bridge to step 2. Only a quieted mind can impersonalize. Only a dropped picture can be correctly named. We do not begin by fixing. We begin by refusing to carry. Drop it. Then, from the still place, We will see what it is and what it is not. Do you see? From the stillness you have gained, now do the second thing. Take the hook out of the picture by taking the person out of the picture. Impersonalize. Give not a thought to a man or a woman with a problem. Do you see? We are not hardening our hearts. We are refusing to make a God out of appearances by pinning them onto God's offspring. The nature of error is not a person, not a law, not a power. It is mesmerism, hypnotic suggestion, the ancient belief in two powers parading as news. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, said the apostle. We are not fighting people or conditions. We are refusing consent to a lie that claims mandate. Here is the misstep that ruins prayer. The instant you say their disease, their breakdown, their sin, you have signed a contract with separation. You have agreed that there is a them apart from God and a second power apart from God that has attached to them. That is the whole trouble. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Righteous judgment sees no person on whom to hang the mask. It sees only the mask and emptiness behind it. Think of the old story. In the dusk, a man sees a snake coiled across the path. Fear leaps, muscles tighten, breath shortens. He plans an escape. Then a light is brought, and the snake is a rope. There was no need to argue with a reptile, no need to run, no need to call a committee. One thing was required: light. Impersonalization is that light. It says, this is not them. This is not a power. This has no law. This is not personal to anyone. When you say that, say it to yourself, not to the caller. Let it be a candling of consciousness until the tightness leaves. Do you follow that? The arm of flesh comes loudly, always loud enough to startle. This one is worse. This time it is real, but you know their history. Hypnotism needs your personal memory to fuel it. It needs your affection to sign its lease. It will borrow the face of a friend, the voice of your own child, to recruit your consent. That is why our love must be higher than sentimentality. Love refuses to stick a label to the one beloved. Love refuses to lift a hand against God by imagining God's son or daughter separated from God. This is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased, is the truth of identity. Anything that suggests otherwise is, get thee behind me, Satan. Behind. Not wrestled with, not negotiated with, behind. You may ask, but if I do not think of them, am I not abandoning them? No. You are abandoning the lie about them. You are abandoning the snake for the rope. You are taking the thorn from the rose instead of patting the thorn and calling it floral. You are, for the first time, standing by them, because only when you withhold personhood from the suggestion can you behold the person as they are. The prayer that personalizes is a kindness that cripples. The prayer that impersonalizes is mercy that frees. Make it simple in your inner language. Use short, truthful phrases that cut cords. This is not them. This is not a power. This has no law. This is not personal to anyone. The suggestion is universal, miasmic belief, looking for a doorstep. You will not offer your friend's doorstep. You will not offer your own. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, because there is no law to form it and no person to wear it. Let those sentences sit in you until what was tangled becomes quiet, until what was urgent becomes uninteresting. When hypnotism has no audience, it dissipates. I can tell you from experience, the moment this separation occurs within you, breath returns, a lightness arrives, and there is a subtle joy that is not of this world. The tone of your listening changes. The content of their story begins to pass through you without lodging in you. You are now able to hear them without absorbing them. You are standing by, not standing in. Do you see? And here's the bridge that naturally appears. When you have denied personhood to the suggestion, you are free to behold person as person truly is. You cannot do this while sentiment clouds sight. You cannot do this while pity personalizes evil. But the instant the mask is dropped, the face is visible. The next step will be to see rightly, to behold God appearing as this individual. Even here, that is as. But do not race ahead. Finish your work in step 2. Let the rope be a rope, the arm of flesh a nothing, the 2 powers a bare dream. Then, from the clean ground, we will look up and see who stands there. Do you follow that? Now, from that clean ground, lift your eyes not outward, but inward and behind the eye. Step 3 is the first pillar of our way. As God is manifest as individual being. Do you see? Not God in a person. Not God far away in a creature here. God appearing as the individual before you, this very one whose voice is trembling on the line, I and the Father are one, is not a verse to admire. It is the lens through which you are to behold. He that hath seen me hath seen the Father, is not arrogance. It is identity stated. The invisible Father appears as son, as daughter, as this one. If you do not accept this, you are still dealing with a problem person. If you do accept it, you are beholding the Christ of God where fear claims absence. How do you do this? Quietly, without speech, inwardly. You address no separate self. You do not call God down from a sky. You recognize God as what stands here. You look past the frightened tone to the truth of being and say within yourself, this is my beloved son, my beloved daughter, in whom I am well pleased, not as flattery, as fact. You let the sentence rest until it begins to register as more than poetry, until it rings where thought cannot counterfeit. This seeing is not a trick of imagination. It is a refusal to see a mask where a face stands. Do you follow that? You will feel the mind try to argue, but they are afraid, but they are ill, but they did wrong. And you will answer, not to them, but to that argument. I am not denying the feeling. I am denying that feeling a throne. I am not denying the report. I am denying it divinity. There is room in your compassion to allow the storm to blow through the human voice. There is no room in your realization to make the storm their name. Identity is sacred. Name them not by weather. Name them by source. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. That is identity. That is as when you behold as something shifts, the person who calls ceases for you to be an object requiring repair. Repair belongs to mechanics. Realization belongs to spirit. The instant you behold God appearing as this individual, the entire atmosphere of your work changes. You are no longer trying to get God into a situation. You are recognizing God as the only presence there is, wearing this name, using this phone, breathing this breath. In him we live and move and have our being, not nearby, in. You may notice at that moment that your listening purifies. You are able to hear their words without granting their premises. It is as if a lamp were lit behind them, and now you see light through the outline of their trouble. Do not strain for that sight. It is the fruit of impersonalization joined to recognition. And in that sight comes a tenderness, a holy tenderness that has nothing of pity in it. Pity is the sentiment of two powers. Tenderness is the recognition of one, life, loving as itself. Let that tenderness fill the room you are not in. It will be felt. My sheep hear my voice, and they are calmer without knowing why. If you say, but this is difficult, I agree with you, it is difficult for the mind that loves pictures. It is not difficult for spirit. It is not difficult once you have practiced day by day, looking back of the face of every passerby to the face. Practice it now in the quiet of your room. Practice it at breakfast, at the market, at the stoplight. God appearing as the muscle you build there will hold when the night call comes. This is not a lazy man's work, but it is simple. Now, hear the bridge, because once you have sighted as you are ready for is, as establishes identity, is establishes actuality. Having seen who is there, God as individual being, you no longer try to bring good in from outside. You abide in what is already present, already finished, already whole. The next step is not to make truth. It is to rest in truth, not to engineer outcome, to bear witness. But do not skip. Let the as settle. Let it take root. Then the as blossoms naturally into is, and the work is no longer work. It is recognition. It is peace. Do you see? Step 4 is the second pillar, is. Do you see? Having recognized God appearing as this individual, you do not now set about to fix, improve, or repair. You abide in is. You are not attempting to make truth true. You are resting where truth already is true. This is the difference between prayer that strains and prayer that realizes it is finished. The Master said, if it is finished, your task is not to finish it again. Your task is to consent to finishedness. Consent, not perform. Let me give you the rhythm, not as a performance for the mind, but as a quieting of the heart. Harmony is, life is, love is, intelligence is, peace is, omnipresence is, omnipotence is, I am. Do you follow that? This is not affirmation theater, it is recognition. You are not standing on a stage projecting big syllables at a small God. You are yielding to what cannot be improved by your words. The syllables are only a gentle tap on the door of awareness, a way of remembering that you do not make 2 times 2 4. You realize it is 4. Is. That is all. The common mistake here, and it is the mistake that makes spiritual work tiresome, is to try to use truth as a tool. If I declare strongly enough that God is, perhaps the condition will change. That is bargaining. That is anxiety in religious clothing. Truth is not a crowbar. Truth is presence. You cannot apply God to a situation as if God were a balm in a jar. You can only recognize God as the only presence and the only law where the suggestion claims to be. The recognition dissolves mesmerism because mesmerism has no substance to withstand light. The light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Not a battle, a shining. Notice what falls away the instant you abide in is. There is no personal will, because there is nothing to make happen. There is no time pressure, because the eternal is not clocked. There is no bargaining with God, because you are not outside the good trying to get in. You are in, and good is being itself as the being you behold. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Give, not sell. Give, not delay. When you abide, you begin to taste that pleasure. The shoulders lower. The breath seeks its own rhythm. The mind stops leaning into the future to pull a rope it cannot reach. I know the temptation that comes in this stillness. Should I not do something? Yes, abide. Abide is the doing. Abide in me, and I in you, not as two, but as one, life recognized. Every time you try to accomplish an outcome, you pick up the old belief in two powers and set it on your own altar. Put it down. Let is be your sanctuary. In the sanctuary, you do not plead with God. You witness God. In witnessing, you do nothing, yet all is done. Do you see? Now, how do you know you are in is and not in theater? The sense of strain is gone. The phrases stop asking and begin reporting. Harmony is, life is, love is, intelligence is, peace is, I am. The present tense settles you. The past offers no weight. The future offers no bait. If the mind runs out looking for proof, smile at it and let it return like a pup to heel. We are not manufacturing peace to bring to a doorstep. We are acknowledging peace present where we stand. The storm on Galilee did not grow quiet because of a larger storm in Jesus. It heard, "Peace be still," from one who was already still. That stillness is the is. And do not be surprised if, as you quietly rest in this, the outer scene shifts without your commentary. That is not your doing. That is the nature of hypnotism when it is not fed. The rope was always a rope. The tracks never met. The white poodle never walked across the lawn. Only the dream dissolves. Only the arm of flesh falls back into its nothingness. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Seeing, not forcing. From here, we shall return to words, because you will speak again. But hear me. When you speak from is, your words are few and do not contradict your realization. You will not rush to fill the air with metaphysics and thereby empty your consciousness of power. You will let the silence do its work and allow only those sentences that serve the silence. In a moment, I will tell you what to say and what never to say, so that your speech does not become an interference. For now, rest. Harmony is, life is, love is, intelligence is, peace is, I am. Do you follow that? Now let us return to words, because you will speak again. But hear me, words must be servants of realization, not substitutes for it. Words are auxiliaries. Words sometimes are an interference. In a crisis, certain sentences are not harmless. They are barbs. Do not say, "There are no accidents." Do not say, "You attracted this." Do not say, "It's all illusion." Do not say, "Just have faith." Do not say, "Everything happens for a reason." These are phrases that may look true on paper and sound pious in a classroom, but in the ears of fear, they are salt in a wound. They provoke an argument. They force the sufferer to defend their hurt while you defend your theology. And once you are arguing, you have already stepped into the arena of two powers and are trying to beat an appearance with syllables. Do you see? Why are these sentences dangerous? Because they make the person a problem and your doctrine the solution. They personalize error and depersonalize love. They enlist memory, comparison, and judgment. They invite you to prove something with words instead of to realize something with silence. For the kingdom of God is not in word, but in power. Power is the realized presence of God, not the loudness of our truth-telling. A soft answer turneth away wrath, and the softest answer sometimes is the one that does not attempt to explain the universe to a breaking heart. If you ask for a script, here is the only one I offer in those first moments. I'm here. I will help you. Stay with me. Take one breath. Tell me what you need right now. That is all. Simple lines, placed like stepping stones across a fast river. They steady. They do not preach. They gather the scattered attention into the next faithful moment. They give you time to turn within to as and is while your voice gives them a place to stand. Do you follow that? Then, if words are still required, let them serve practicality, not metaphysics. Ask gently, are you safe? Is someone with you? Do we need emergency help? Where are you? Can you unlock the door? There is no spiritual shame in these questions. Love is not superstitious. Love does not prove faith by refusing aid. Love proves faith by being wise, timely, and kind. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. If an ambulance is loving, send it. If a neighbor's hand is needed, ask for it. You are not trading spirit for matter. You are letting spirit appear as the right help in the right way. God appearing as, what else must you refuse to say? Refuse to ask, how did you get yourself into this? Refuse to instruct, hold to the truth, as if they were failing an exam. Refuse to diagnose their consciousness. Refuse to quote a book at them. All of these thrust the weight back onto the caller and invite shame. Shame is a cousin of fear. It feeds the hypnotism we are dissolving. Our task is not to load the mind with responsibilities. Our task is to lift the mind into presence by withdrawing our demands upon it. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. The yea is I am here. I will help you. The nay is a holy refusal to multiply words where presence is already at work. Notice what such speech does. It does not contradict your realization. It does not set you to battling the arm of flesh with quotations. It does not revive the snake in the rope by naming it. It makes room. Into that room, the still small voice speaks where your voice has grown quiet. Often, as you keep the conversation free of explanations, you will feel the atmosphere change as if a window has been opened. That is your cue to speak even less and realize more. And when the call ends, do not imagine the work is over because you were courteous. Polite sentences are not fruitage. After you have said little, you must realize much. Return at once to as and is. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Rest in God appearing as individual being and in what already is. Be still and know that I am God. Out of that stillness come the results that cannot be argued with. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know whether your speech served the silence or smothered it. Do you see? Now comes the holy labor of love, to stand by while they talk. Do you see? Outwardly, you are all tenderness. You do not hurry them. You do not edit their sentences. You do not interpose a lesson. Inwardly, you do not waver a hair's breadth from as and is, God appearing as this individual. This is as. Harmony is, peace is. I am, this is. Two streams, one river. The voice in your ear may tremble. The presence in your heart does not. Let not your heart be troubled, said the Master. He did not say, correct their heart, but let not your own be troubled, that yours may steady theirs. Here is the trap, sympathy that turns to absorption. You believe you are loving, and in the name of love, you begin to swallow their fear into your own body. Your chest tightens, your breath shortens, your stomach knots. That is not compassion. That is mesmerism multiplied by 2. Love does not imitate fear. Love is the recognition of God as the identity present. It is a lighthouse, not a second ship taking on the same water. Perfect love casteth out fear, not by arguing, by being itself. Do you follow that? Use this inner cue as they speak. I am not receiving this as truth. I am receiving this as a report. That is all. A report does not establish law. A report does not alter identity. A report passes through. Law abides. Let the words come. Let them pour, but do not endorse them with your consent. Hold your inner sight on as this is my beloved son, my beloved daughter, in whom I am well pleased. And rest in is, peace is, life is, love is, intelligence is, I am. You are not contradicting them aloud. You are refusing to contradict your own realization within. You will notice, if you do this faithfully, that your very steadiness becomes the climate of the conversation. The rhythm of your breathing, unforced, natural, becomes theirs. The cadence of your silence settles the agitation around their words. Without announcing it, your peace begins to do what words never can. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. That peace is not an emotion you conjure. It is the presence you consent to. It regulates the whole atmosphere. And the body, yes. The nervous system takes its cue. Do you see? Let them speak. Do not punctuate their sentences with truth statements. Do not interrupt to make metaphysical corrections. Your teaching belongs to another hour. Here, your work is to stand by in consciousness until fear discovers that there is no echo in you and grows tired of its own sound. Fear likes a debate. It loses interest with a witness. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Quietness, not argument. Confidence, not counterstatement. Keep your inner practice muscular and simple. If a phrase arises that tries to pull you out, this is terrible, this is too much, answer within. This is not personal to anyone. This is not a power. This has no law. Then immediately return to identity. God the invisible appears here as the visible individual. And quickly to actuality. Harmony is. Peace is. I am. Do not camp on any one sentence. Touch, release, rest. Like a bell that is struck once and continues to ring. A single true seeing will continue its music if you do not drown it with more. Occasionally you will feel the moment to ask something practical. Are you safe? Is someone with you? Would you like me to stay on the line while we call? This is not a descent into matter. This is spirit appearing as wisdom. When 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst of them. The midst sometimes takes the form of a neighbor at the door, a ride to the clinic, the calm voice that stays until the ambulance arrives. Give no place to superstition. Love never withholds appropriate help to prove a point. Love proves God by being appropriate help. How will you know you have truly stood by and not merely endured a story politely by fruitage? Their breath eases, the pitch of the voice lowers, the sentences shorten. The atmosphere clears as fog under sun. There may still be steps to take, then take them, but the inner weather has changed. You will feel it as unmistakably as the stillness after peace. Be still And if you do not feel it yet, do not be disturbed. Keep standing by. Keep refusing to absorb. Keep consenting to presence. Be still and know that I am God. In that knowing, you help more than any lecture could. Do you see? Now let me clear a fear that haunts many sincere students. To call a doctor, to knock on a neighbor's door, to dial for emergency help is not a betrayal of spirit. It may be the very shape that love takes in that hour. Do you see? We are not in bondage to methods. We are in service to presence. The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. The rule is not your God. God is your God. If the boat is taking on water, you do not hold a metaphysical debate with the sea. You put your hand to the pump while your heart abides in is. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor, and love never withholds timely help to preserve an image of spiritual poise. Spiritual poise does not forbid practical help. It guides it calmly, without superstition, without fear. Here is the principle. Do not worship means, and do not fear means. Give neither halo nor horn to the forms through which help arrives. God is the source. Forms are appearances. The same one who appears as the breath in your chest may appear as the paramedic on the stair, the steady voice on the hotline, the physician with a clear eye and a practiced hand. In him we live and move and have our being. Not next to, in. When you are established in is, you can use the means that wisdom indicates without handing them any authority over life. You are not hoping that a human arrangement will manufacture safety. You are witnessing safety already present, showing forth as wise steps. Let us be specific, because vagueness is not love. If life or limb is immediately at risk, act quickly and quietly. If there is chest pain, labored breathing, signs of stroke, severe bleeding, a fall with confusion or loss of consciousness, act. If you hear talk of self-harm or harm to others, if there is a weapon within reach, if someone is alone and disoriented, if a child or elder is without safe supervision, act. You do not argue philosophy with a drowning man. You throw a rope and keep your inner sight on as and is. Use simple, steady phrases that keep your pledge tangible. I'm going to stay on the phone while we get you support. I am with you. Tell me your address. Are you able to unlock the door? Is someone nearby we can call right now? Breathe with me. One breath and another. Do you follow that? There is a tenderness in this that has no drama in it. No shouting. No frightening forecasts. No heroic speeches. Quiet, exact steps. If emergency services are needed, you do not apologize for calling. You do not consult a superstition. You make the call. If a trusted friend can arrive sooner, you ring the friend and say, I will help you. I am arranging someone to be with you. If the stove is on, you have them turn it off. If the house is dark, you have them switch on a light. If a door needs to be opened, you help them open it. This is not a descent into matter. This is spirit appearing as wisdom. Remember the master story of the Samaritan. He did not lecture the man by the roadside. He bound up the wounds, poured in oil and wine, put him on his own beast, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. That is Scripture's own witness that love is practical. Be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only. Do you see? While your hands are arranging help, your heart does not leave its sanctuary. You are not trading realization for activity. You are abiding in as while allowing is to take a form. Within yourself, the rhythm does not change. God appearing as this individual, this is, as harmony is, life is, intelligence is, protection is, this is. The outer steps are the branches. The sap is your realization. Without the sap, the branch is dry and brittle. With the sap, the branch bears fruit. Let the branch be whatever wisdom requires. Keep the sap flowing. Often, in these moments, you will feel the temptation to second guess. If I were truly spiritual, would I need to call? Brush that aside as the arm of flesh. That is only the old belief in two powers, dressed in piety. You are not proving yourself. You are loving your neighbor. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. Peace acts fittingly. Peace rings the bell when ringing is needed. Peace opens the door. Peace stands by on the line until another presence arrives. When immediate safety is assured, when the friend has walked in, when the ambulance doors have closed, when the room is no longer alone, your voice can grow quiet again, and your work returns wholly to the inner chamber. Shut the door of thought on the scene and refuse to rehearse it. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Let the pictures dissolve as you re-enter impersonalization. This is not personal to anyone. This is not a power. This has no law. Then look up within and recognize as, this is my beloved son, my beloved daughter, in whom I am well pleased. And rest in is, harmony is, life is, love is, I am. Remain there until the release is felt, not emotion, not a thrill, but that deep lift in which effort ceases and peace reports itself. By the fruitage you will know. If there is yet another practical step required, it will present itself without strain, and you will take it without superstition. Hold this as your standard. We neither dramatize action nor delay it. We neither glorify means nor refuse them. We stand in realization, and we let love appear as what is needed. That is moral clarity. That is simplicity. That is the way that neither tempts God with recklessness nor offends God with fear. Do you see? After the line goes quiet, the work begins. Do you see? Our word for that work is treatment, but not in the sense of mental argument or mantra treatment, as a holy silence in which realization, not repetition, is allowed to do what only realization can do. Words are auxiliaries. Words sometimes are an interference. You have said little. Now you must realize much. Be still and know that I am God. Not know about know. Not think up, receive. Take the sequence again as a musician returns to true pitch. First, drop it. Drop the picture. Drop the narrative. Let the whole scene that just filled your hearing fade as mist at sunrise. This is not indifference. This is fidelity to truth. Second, impersonalize. This is not personal to anyone. This is not a power. This has no law. Only the arm of flesh nothingness ever claimed a mandate here. Third, as God appearing as this individual right here, without wait time or travel. This is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased. Fourth is harmony is, life is, love is, intelligence is, peace is, I am. And then listen. Listening is not thinking. Listening is not rummaging for a verse. Listening is receptivity. Earlier, you primed the pump. You declared truth in order to awaken memory to reality. Now you stop priming and you wait for water. Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. The impartation must come from within itself, as a dawning, as that still small voice Elijah knew after the wind and the fire were silent. I live, yet not I. Christ liveth in me. Let that be literal. Not you holding to truth, truth holding you. Not you assembling peace, peace presenting itself to your awareness. How will you know the shift? Not by fireworks, not by a thrill. The signs are simple and unmistakable. The sense of strain drops. The mind ceases to reach. The breath finds its own level. A quiet certainty, as quiet as a stone at the bottom of a river, says without syllables, it is finished. The phrases, if they come at all, come as report, not as request. Harmony is, life is, love is. There is a presence here, tender and undramatic, and it requires nothing of you but consent. Do you follow that? Do not get up too soon. Stay until the lift is felt, until effort ceases, not from fatigue, but from fulfillment. This is not passivity. This is obedience. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Seeing, not pushing. If the mind starts to wander back to the story, drop it again. If it wants to review, to improve, to visualize an outcome, gently refuse. You are not a stage manager, you are a witness. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Confidence in what? In is. Now, the only test worth taking is fruitage. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know whether this was realization or an emotional jag. If it is realization, something in the outer scene will bear witness, often without fanfare. The one who called sleeps. The doctor arrives at the right minute. The bleeding stops. The voice that was high and ragged is low and steady. A wise step presents itself unforced, and you take it without superstition. If there is no change yet, do not scold yourself and do not manufacture strain. Return to as and is. Remain until the assurance is there. Then go about your tasks and let the fruit follow as dawn follows night. Guard the sanctity of this silence. Do not run to tell someone that you have done a treatment. Shut the door. Enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. The open reward is the fruitage, not applause. Keep the atmosphere clean of pride and of worry alike. If, as you move through the hours, the call returns to memory with a hook in it, do not take the bait. Drop it. Impersonalize. Reestablish as. Abide in as. Listen, each return is shorter, easier, surer, until the inner word says, enough. Then you will know the work has passed from your shoulders to the presence. That is its own proof. This is how help ripens silently, invisibly, efficaciously. After you have said little, realize much. Let the silence, not your sentences, do the heavy lifting. When the shift comes, it will not ask your permission. It will reveal itself as peace. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. Receive it, and let the fruit tell the story. Do you see? Now the measure. Not your mood, not their thank you note. By their fruits ye shall know them. Fruitage is not a glow in your chest. It is harmony in the scene. Fruitage is not the relief of having said something. It is the quiet rightness that shows up as protection, as timing, as a clear next step taken without strain. The kingdom of God is not in word, but in power. Power is realization, and realization leaves footprints. Do you see? What are the prints? They calm. The voice that was high and ragged becomes low and paced. The sentences that tumbled begin to line up as if a hand had smoothed the paper. Sleep returns. A doorbell rings at the exact minute help is needed. The physician answers on the first call. The neighbor who is seldom home is home. The decisions that were a thicket become a footpath, and the step you must take announces itself without drama. The situation de-escalates, sometimes in 5 minutes, sometimes over hours, and you find that you did not push it. It eased as fog under sun. That easing is fruitage. There's fruitage in you as well. You hang up and you are not vibrating. You do not pace. You do not need to phone 3 friends to discuss how spiritual you were. You return to your tasks with a quiet inner nod. It is finished not because you declared it, but because it declared itself. The peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds. Kept, not sedated, kept. If later the case returns to thought, it returns without a hook. You can drop it and abide in it again. That keeping is fruitage. Now the warning, because this is where many deceive themselves. Nice talk is not fruitage. Emotional uplift is not fruitage. If after your beautiful phrases, the caller remains just as agitated, if you feel secretly proud of your metaphysics, but nothing in the atmosphere has shifted, you have had an emotional jag. Words are only auxiliaries. Words sometimes are an interference. Beware the signs. You keep checking your phone for praise. You rehearse the conversation and edit your lines. You feel compelled to call back and add more platitudes. That is the arm of flesh craving reassurance. It is not the still small voice. It is not fruit. Une simple condition. If the problems that come to you are being met and resolved with increasing ease, if your day-to-day affairs are cleaner, your relationships quieter, your bank balance steadier, your reactions slower and kinder, then consciousness is functioning. If, when the phone rings, you find that peace rises faster than words, and the outcomes confirm it, then you are not fooling yourself. But if you notice that crises linger around you like fog banks, that your words multiply while results do not, if fear borrows your throat and speaks in truth sentences, then return to practice. Drop it. Impersonalize. As is. Do you follow that? Do not call fruitage luck. When helps arrive on time, when supports appear, when a tangle loosens, you are not witnessing coincidence. You are witnessing law. All things work together for good to them that love God. Not a slogan to hurl at pain, a report of is. Love God not as a faraway object, but as the very presence you recognized as this individual, and the appearance arranges itself to fit the fact. Law shows forth as right sequence, right person, right hour. God appearing as, mark this too, fruitage has follow-through. It does not fizzle at the first sign of improvement. A night's rest becomes a better morning. A wise choice today becomes a sturdier week. The caller's gratitude, if it comes, is modest because they cannot explain what happened. They only know they are no longer drowning. A tree is known by his fruit, not by blossoms of talk, by ripe outcomes that nourish life. And yes, fruitage judges us also. Faith without works is dead. If there is little fruit, do not pout and do not pretend. Do the work. This is not a lazy man's path. Crises do not confer mastery. They reveal it. The harvest is determined before the storm by the seed you have been planting in ordinary hours. So let fruitage be your teacher. Let it encourage you where it appears and discipline you where it does not. Then when the next call comes, and it will, you will not scramble for sentences. You will stand in realization, and the fruit will follow as surely as dawn follows night. Do you see? Training for the next call is not dramatic work. It is simple, steady cultivation in the hours when nothing is on fire. Do you see? Crisis does not create capacity. It exposes it. When the phone rings, you will stand or you will scramble according to what you have been quietly building in ordinary minutes. This is not a lazy man's work. You cannot borrow consciousness at midnight that you did not save at noon. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. So we take the least, the smallest moments, and we sanctify them with as and is until they become the natural climate of our awareness. Begin at waking. Before the feet touch the floor, 3 breaths and 3 recognitions. As God appearing as this eye that opens its eyes whole, intact, beloved. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Is, life is, peace is, I am. At the mirror, do not adjust the face and neglect identity. Behold the one who looks out and say within, thou seest me, thou seest the Father, for I and the Father are one. At the table, not a ritual, a realization. Supply is not on the plate. Supply is in God. And God appears as this provision. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. At the wallet or the bill, do not consult fear. Consult is. Abundance is. Law is. Order is. During travel, each red light is a bell of mindfulness. As every driver and pedestrian, God appearing as individual being is. Safety is. Intelligence is. Timing is. In small frictions, spilled coffee, a missed bus refused the stampede. Drop it. Impersonalize. Only the arm of flesh ever claims authority here. Return to as and is. Do you follow that? At first, you will do this deliberately. That is right. This is the letter, the conscious, disciplined, knowing that primes the pump. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, not a stadium light. Use the lamp again and again. In time, the second stage dawns. You discover that, having primed the pump faithfully, water begins to flow without your hand. The letter gives way to spirit. Truth is imparted rather than manufactured. Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. You turn toward as, and the recognition meets you halfway. You lean into is, and as bay as you. I live, yet not I. Christ liveth in me. Do you see the difference? You are no longer assembling sentences, you are consenting to presence. This is how we move from saying to seeing, from holding to being held. Keep the practice microscopic because life is made of small grains. Before you send a text, pause 1 breath. I will not transmit irritation. Drop it. Impersonalize the impulse. This is not personal to me, not a power, has no law, and then answer from peace or not at all. When a colleague arrives late or a driver cuts you off, behold, as God appearing as that individual, not a nuisance, not a rival. Your eye will argue for a moment. Let the argument pass as mist. Rest in is, harmony is, intelligence is, patience is. When you enter a room, look back of the eye and witness the Christ of God in each cashier, child, elder, stranger. Practice seeing what you say you believe. Pray without ceasing does not mean muttering words all day. It means refusing to depart from realized presence in the day's common traffic. Why this rigor? Because when a storm comes, you cannot learn to swim in the first wave. If you cannot hold as in a grocery line, you will not hold it in an ICU. If you cannot abide in is when the invoice surprises you. You will not abide in is when the diagnosis surprises you. The call will only reveal the depth already in you. Let daily repetition form it. The tracks you lay with morning recognitions, mealtime acknowledgments, money moments of trust, and the little refusals to absorb irritation, those tracks will carry the weight of crisis without splintering. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know this is true. Then, when the phone does ring, you will not reach for sentences to defend your insecurity. Your first words will be the same quiet pledge, I will help you, and your first act will be inward. Drop it, impersonalize as is. Your speech will stay minimal and practical because your consciousness is doing the work. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. The yea is compassion expressed as presence and wise steps. The nay is the refusal of platitudes and metaphysical lectures. Out of such training, moral clarity is not a strain. It is the habit of sight. Love will show you whether to speak, whom to call, when to move, and when to be still. Be still and know that I am God. Build the stillness now in the least, and it will keep you in the much. Do you see? Beloved, let us end as we began, without strain, without display, simply as those who have seen something and will now consent to live by it. The whole way can be spoken in a single inner movement. Drop it, impersonalize, return to as abide in, is, speak minimally, listen deeply. Do you see? This is not 6 methods. It is one current flowing as 6 notes. When the report comes by phone, by text, by a face at your door, first, drop the picture. Let the scene that seems to demand instant reaction dissolve like a mist. Second, impersonalize. This is not personal to anyone. This is not a power. This has no law. It is only the arm of flesh, mesmerism, the old belief that 2 powers contend. Third, as God appearing as this individual, whole and intact, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Fourth, is harmony, is, life is, love is, intelligence is, I am. Then let your speech be few and faithful. I will help you, and let your listening be the chamber where fear, finding no echo, grows quiet in the presence you are consenting to. Let your communication be, yea, yea, nay, yea, a pledge of help, nay to platitudes and lectures. Hold to the ethic that undergirds it all. The caller is never a problem person. The person before you is never a nuisance to be managed, never a lesson to be taught. The person is the temple. The report is the dust. Brush the dust without insulting the sanctuary. Look back of the eye and behold as God appears as individual being. I and my Father are one. If your thought wavers, take the Master's sentence as your quieting hand. Be still and know that I am God, not God over there, while a crisis burns here. God is the very life that is this identity, unthreatened, unfractured, present. Do not admire this and postpone it. Test it gently now, in the smallest ripple. When a message interrupts your errand, when a plan shifts, when the kettle boils over, do not dramatize. Drop it Impersonalize, as is. Then say only what serves, and listen until peace carries the conversation. The small obediences lay the track for heavy trains. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. Do you follow that? The next call will not make you a practitioner. It will reveal the practitioner you have been in the grocery, at the desk, on the sidewalk. Train in minutes. Stand in hours. Remember, words are only auxiliaries. Use them, but do not confuse them with help. Help is realized, presence. Help appears as naturally as light when the shutter of fear is lifted. You do not manufacture morning, you remove the shade. When realization is present, action is simple. If wisdom says, call, call. If wisdom says, be still, be still. If wisdom says, breathe with me, breathe. But the sap is inner, the branch is outer. Keep the sap flowing with as and is, and the branch will bear fruit without splintering. The kingdom of God is not in word, but in power. And power proves itself by fruitage, by the quiet rightness that arrives without your pushing. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know. So I leave you with the same pledge I have given those who call. I will help you. And I ask you to make it your pledge to those who come to you. Say it without flourish. Mean it. Let it turn you inward where the real work is done. Refuse platitudes. Stand in realization. Let help be the natural fruit of consciousness. Do you see? Do you follow that? Peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth. Receive it. The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee and give thee peace. And as you go, remember, your job is not to explain truth, but to realize it. In that realization, help appears as naturally as light, and those who sit in shadow will find that dawn has come, quietly, surely, without argument. Thank you.